guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in again. I am sorry, I'm driving right now. I had so much to do before I left, and I wanted to be able to spend the time that I don't normally do on my makeup to get all nice and glam tonight. I have a little get-together party with one of the companies I work for and do makeup for weddings. So I'm on my way there now, and I just wanted to film my intro. And I don't ever do my lips in these videos because I don't have any of my lip products, my good lip products, in my bathroom. So everything that I use, normally is in my purse. But this is a liquid lip from Tarte. It's called Festival, I believe. It was a limited edition, I think last summer. I love this shade. I will link below a couple similar shades that are available that you could probably still purchase, because I know this one is not available anymore. At least I don't think it is. So I'm just on my way there now. Don't forget to subscribe so that you guys are aware of when I post new videos. And definitely click the little bell next to subscribe so that way you know exactly when I'll post the video. Because as of right now, I'm trying to get a schedule down. I definitely plan on filming every week, but I don't know exactly what days I'm gonna get videos up, because my days are just a little crazy. And until my little one gets a little bit more regimen and on a schedule with eating and sleeping and things like that, I'll know when I have time so I can plan things out a little bit better. So for right now, it is what it is, and I hope to get this video up for you soon. And thank you so much for watching again. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. This is definitely not a look that I do all the time, but this is perfectly relatable to other, if I were to do a special event for somebody or a wedding, this is a great smoky eye type look. Definitely full glam, contouring, highlighting, and everything. So if you, if you have somewhere special to go, I showed you all the products that I use, so hopefully you can mimic it and learn a little bit from me and do this on your own. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not gonna keep rambling, sorry. And I'm really excited to get out for the night, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks. Hi everyone, so I'm back with this Get Ready With Me. As you see, I'm taking my Scotch tape, and I'm actually using this to kind of contour where I want my shadow to be. And it's really gonna cut in on that angle, as you saw in the photos as well as my intro, to get that really sharp line. So this is a great way to do that if you really want that more of a sharp edge versus something a little bit more blended, and it's gonna stop the shadow from dragging down to your under eye as well. So I'm looking for my blending brush, I think. But I go in with the Modern Renaissance palette. I love this palette. It has a lot of fallout, but I really, really like it. The colors in it are beautiful. And I'm just going in with a transition shade at first, which is a little bit, this shade is probably a little bit darker than what I would normally start out with. Again, this is more of a smoky eye. Oh, I forgot about my eye primer, so I'm gonna go in with that first. This one's from Lorac, sorry, I don't know how to say that, Cosmetics, and I usually use this on my clients too, but this is great for more mature skin as well, because it's not like the Urban Decay where that one is can be very drying. This one definitely has a lot of moisture to it, but it definitely locks in the shadow. I definitely feel like it needs to be set though with a powder, so you'll see me go in and do that next. I set it with just a cream eyeshadow, actually contouring powder, which is also Lorac. I have their contouring palette, and I'm just going in with a blending brush with the lightest color, and I'm going to be buffing that all over my lid to just set that eye primer to make sure that everything blends out smoothly. So now you'll see I go in with my taper blending brush into that brownish, yellowish color. So this is my transition shade. You always want to start out with a lighter brown or whatever, whether it's a brown or some kind of taupe color to kind of set the tone for your eye look. But I'm just really kind of messy blending into my crease and up into the brow bone, as you see, until I'm happy with how it's blended. And I don't take this down on my lid because I am doing a lighter shade there, but I'm just using those windshield wiper motions. So now I have a tapered blending brush, and I'm going to go in with a slightly darker shade here, which is, I think, like a warm taupe. I will link all the colors that I used below because I honestly can't read it from here. I was just tapping off the excess there and starting in my outer corner and blending that down just slightly onto the lid, but really focusing on the outer corner to really blend that up into that lighter brown shade. This is more of a cool brown, whereas the brown I started with is more of a warm brown. So it's kind of mixing warm and cool tones together. I honestly had no idea how this look was going to turn out when I had started, so I really just was kind of winging it. No pun intended, because I do a winged eyeliner further on into this video. So right now I'm trying to decide what color to use, and I'm actually going to go in with this really pink color, which is kind of daring for me because I don't usually use a ton of color when I do my eye makeup looks, but I felt like with the base colors that were already there that this would blend in really nicely and kind of really make my eyes pop. And especially with like that sharp angle, that dark outer corner will almost instantly look like more of a winged eyeshadow look, along with me adding a winged eyeliner. So I kind of just like really focus that on the outer corner, and as you can see, I'm kind of bringing that up into the crease and blending it out a little bit as the color is being applied, but really focusing the outer corner there as much as I can with this color and just kind of slightly blending in. So the real key to getting this look as blended and as clean as I got it is really just blending. Blending is the key to any eye makeup look, honestly. The more you blend, the better all those colors are going to mesh together and the better the eyes are going to look. I am now going in with my concealer, and I just dot the tiniest little bit on the back of my hand, and I go in with my finger. You could use a brush for this if you have like a small flat brush, which I didn't have one on hand right now, so I just usually use my finger and I kind of blend it out just a little bit, but I just tap it in until it's completely blended into my skin. And this is a great way to get your eyeshadows to really pop. If you have like more of a matte shade or even like a shimmery shade, I do this with my clients a lot too if they want something very pigmented or something more shimmery. But again, even for something that is more of a bright matte color, this is such a great way to make that color pop and to stand out, because sometimes like if I don't do this step, I'm not completely happy. Even if the color is super pigmented, I'm not completely happy with how the eyelid comes out because the color may not show up as well as it could if it has a really good base, which is why I do that step. And you'll see I kind of just blended right around that again with the darker eyeshadows. So now I'm going in with a flat brush, and I start out with this gold shimmery shadow that's in that palette, I believe, and I kind of just apply that right on the eyelid all over, and then I actually go back in with a lighter, like shimmery metallic color also in that palette too, because I really wanted my eyelids to kind of pop and to be much brighter and lighter than the rest of this makeup look. It's just what I was going for at that time. And again, I go in and blend that eyeshadow back with my blending brush to make sure everything is seamless. Now I'm using something fun I haven't used yet. This is the Stila. These are those eyeshadow glitters. They're the cream ones. They're so pretty. This is like such a great way to give your makeup look a little bit of a pop. And because, you know, I don't ever do this and I was having fun with my look, I kind of just said, hey, why not? This is more of a glittery cream shadow. So as you can see, I dotted on just a little bit and kind of blended out with my finger because it is glitter, so you don't want any fallout. Hence why I'm doing my eyes first. That way if I did have any fallout, that I could easily clean it up and then obviously continue to do my foundation. So I guess I decided at this point that it wasn't quite dark enough, so I go in with like more of a flat blending brush and I go in with this super dark brown and I kind of, again, really focus in on that outer corner. After adding eyeshadow onto the lid, sometimes I do like to do this step because you can always go in and make it darker. You can never make it lighter, so I kind of gradually make things darker, which is what I'm doing here. And the more you blend out, sometimes it lightens the shadows up a little bit. And then I'm actually going back in with some of that pink color again because I lost some of that as I was blending out everything. So I just kind of touch that back up again with my blending brush. Again, also blending out that dark brown shadow in addition. So I'm kind of like blending those two colors together and really carrying this more through my crease and up into the brow bone slightly. So here comes the fun part. This is how I apply my gel eyeliner. So that was the brush that I'm using, which is like a tapered pointy brush. It's not really tapered, it's just like a pointy eyeliner brush. And I use the Tarte gel eyeliner. So for somebody who's not experienced, I wouldn't recommend starting out with this product. I'd probably use like a felt tip liner. But if you're going to use the tape method, there's really not much messing up that you could do because that tape is actually what is going to help me here really keep that line super sharp. So the hardest part is really getting as close to the lash line as possible with that eyeliner where the tape isn't, obviously, and not making it too thick because obviously if you mess up, the thicker your eyeliner becomes, and that's, may not be the look that you're going for. And for me here this night, it really wasn't the look I was going for either. I wanted it to stand out, but I didn't want it to be overly dramatic. But that tape really did help and guide me to get like a really nice sharp line for my eye shape. You'll see I do constantly kind of like re-dip the brush in to make sure that I have a really good solid black line. So now I'm going in for the wing, and I always start out drawing in the bottom and you kind of just drag it right across your eye. So again, a technique that takes a lot of practice, but the tape really does help guide you so that way you're not overlining your eye or the line's not straight. It's definitely a lot harder to do with a free hand if you've ever tried this before. So now I'm going in to do the other eye, and you'll see I kind of do the exact same thing. It's a little bit harder to do this eye because I am right-handed, but the hardest thing to do is to get your wings exactly the same. Again, tape helps tremendously with doing that. As long as you have them both angled pretty much the same on either eye, you will get that same winged eye look. Okay, so now that the eyeliner is done, I go in and just kind of touch up that outer corner again to deepen up that brown to really make it pop. And at this point, I think I'm pretty much satisfied with how my eyes came out. I'm just going to go in with a highlight, a brow highlight. I always do brow highlighter. It's just something I never do without, even on my days that I don't wear a lot of makeup. But I'm using like this big, I use a bigger brush for this, but you really could use any brush. I'm also going in to kind of lighten up that inner corner, and as you can see, I'm like dragging it through the inner corner of my eye up to the brow bone to kind of blend those shadows together. I end up going back in with a little bit more of a shimmery shadow, as you see with my finger. Sometimes using your finger will make it a little bit more pigmented. And then just touching up that inner corner with the black eyeliner again. So now it's time for brows. I know that I have a full brow tutorial in one of my videos from before, but I'm actually using the Dip Brow Pomade by Anastasia Beverly Hills. So I know this isn't like a zoomed in version of this, so I don't know how much you're really going to get out of it, but being that this isn't like a full brow tutorial, but I do go in with pretty much the same type technique. It's just a different product. Instead of using powder, I'm using the pomade, which I feel like gives a little bit more of a drastic look, or should I say dramatic look, than if I were to just use a powder. And it'll kind of give me a little bit more sharp lines. And I believe the color here that I'm using is like brunette or dark brown. I forget which one it is. It's probably a little bit too dark for me. I've always used, I believe it's Auburn from Anastasia Beverly Hills, because I have like a red tint in my hair. So I always felt like my brows should reflect that, and I just feel like it was a little bit more of a softer color. But I got this as a sample, I think from Sephora the last time I bought something there. So I figured, why not try it out? This is probably the lightest color in that little palette that I showed originally. Now that my brows are done, I'm going to go ahead and take the tape off. And as you can see, I'm pulling pretty carefully along, and you want to pull up. You don't want to pull down, because that will pull the skin the wrong way. And you might even mess up, your eyeliner if you have a wing liner going on like I did. But you can see that nice sharp line. It looks really good. And I'm just going back in with my eyeliner just to kind of sharpen up that line and fill in anywhere that I didn't get. So now I'm ready to go in with foundation. I am priming my skin with my Master Prime. I believe this is the Blur and Illuminate one, so this one's going to give me more of a glow. I believe because I was going in with more of a matte finish foundation, so I kind of wanted to bring a little bit more of a glow to my skin than having like a very dry matte look. I always like my skin to be a little bit more glowy these days. I don't know why. I used to only like matte, and now I like a little bit of a glow. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm getting old. So now I'm going to go in with my foundation. I'm actually using the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. I really like this stuff. This isn't really like my color. It's a little bit more yellow than what I would normally use. I bought it online, so I really took a wild guess at what color I would be. And this color is a little bit darker than what I normally am, but I did self-tan before I did my makeup today, so I felt a little bit more of like I had more of a bronze look than usual. So I went in with this, and as you can see, I'm blending this out with my Tarte foundation brush. As I said before, this is like one of my favorite foundation brushes that I have, just because it blends so well, and it takes like little to no time to blend in foundation because it's so big, so it covers a large surface area. When you do this kind of eye look too, you do have to be careful. I don't know if you saw, I went very carefully around my eyes because I didn't want to disturb that line, that sharp line that I have, because once you mess that up, it's kind of hard to go back from that. So you just kind of got to be careful around those areas. But this foundation is very full coverage, and it's very buildable. So if like one layer wasn't good enough for you, if you could still see blemishes or any redness, like you could always go back in, which is kind of what I'm doing right now. And layer it, and it doesn't get cakey. It's actually a very, very nice foundation. It's not super matte, but it does, I'd say it's like normal. I wouldn't say it's matte. I wouldn't say it gives you like too much of a glow, but you kind of see the glow coming through on my skin right now because of the primer that I used. So overall, like the combination of these two, I really, really, really love. And I love this foundation. I do need to purchase another one like in a lighter color for when I'm not as dark or tan. So now concealer is next, and this is my fave as usual, my Tarte Shape Tape. And again, this is like probably a much lighter color than what I would normally use, with like being a slight bit tanner than I am. But I don't really mind having that lighter under eye. Some people do. So, I mean, if you don't like that white under eye, then probably use a little bit of a darker concealer than you would normally use if you are tanner than usual. And right now I'm just kind of blending that in as usual with my Real Technique sponge. I had to wet it under the sink just a tad. And I put it in all the normal places and really just make sure to blend that through. So at this point, I'm just going to do a little bit of powder to set my concealer and my foundation. And I'm just using this big fluffy brush to apply that all over my T-zone, under the eyes, and then I kind of just swirl it around the rest of the face. It's time for some contouring. So I'm going in with this more of a contour brush, I guess if you want to call it, in my Lorac Pro palette, which I'm taking, I believe, the medium color, and I'm just going in to cut into that cheekbone a little bit. And as you can see, I place the powder where I need it to go, and then I kind of bronze up and blend up. You never want to blend down, because then that could just ruin, you know, the whole reason of why you're contouring. You want the cheeks to appear, you know, more prominent. And I'm going to go ahead and blend that into my hairline. And don't forget, like, you always want to blend this in as best you can. The more you blend, the more seamless it's going to look. Here I go in with like the darkest color because I felt like it wasn't quite dark enough, and I was going out at night. Again, you always want your makeup to be a tad bit darker than it would be during the day. And I'm okay with a little bit more of a dramatic look. Some people tend to like more of a natural contour, which is basically what I do like every day. Whereas this is pretty dramatic. This is something that I would, you know, do on a wedding client or on somebody that has some type of special event, to really make their makeup pop and for them to look very contoured. So this is a pretty dramatic contour. So after contouring, I usually do go in with a bronzer just to kind of give a little bit more of a glow to the skin. And then also to kind of blend the contour a little bit more, maybe intensify it a little bit, and kind of just blend that all around the face in the same areas that you contoured. But this is more of like, to give you more of like that sun-kissed glow, not so much to like carve out the cheekbones. And you don't have to do this step. This is, again, like pretty excessive. Definitely a step that I do also on my clients if they want more of a dramatic contoured and like super sun-kissed glow. Especially like for the summertime, people tend to really like that type of look. So I'm grabbing that tapered blending brush and I'm going in with a super light color out of the contour palette and just kind of carving out underneath where I contoured on my cheeks. This is a great step to do if you kind of messed up your contour at all, or if you just like want it to be very prominent and noticeable. You could do it under the eyes, as you can see I'm doing, to brighten the under eye if you feel like it's not bright enough. And then again, like under the cheekbone to really carve out that line even more. So I'm just putting it on all the areas that I kind of highlighted with concealer. And one of my all-time favorite steps, of course, is highlighting. So I have the MAC Soft and Gentle and my Anastasia highlighting brush. And I just go ahead and highlight the tops of my cheekbones, the top of the brow, a little bit on the tip of the nose, and my Cupid's bow. I love highlighting. I feel like it gives such a nice finish to the skin, and it really makes the look pop. Especially like in pictures and things like that, it's, you know, it can be very noticeable and just really make the whole look. So blush is next, and I'm using this NARS palette. I think this is a limited edition, but they do have one, I believe, that's still available that you can purchase at Sephora. Still, I believe, but it has blush in it, it has bronzer, it has a contour powder, it even has a brightener in there. So this is like a really great palette. I actually would use this if I ever were to travel anywhere. just because it has a little bit of everything, and those contour powders can also go along as like an eyeshadow. You can use them to contour your crease. So if you kind of like need, you know, makeup to bring but don't want to bring a ton of stuff, that is an awesome palette to use. And I love their blushes, of course. So when I do this dramatic of a look, you can't really forget about the under eye, whether you're going to use eyeliner or a shadow. So I'm actually going back in with some eyeshadow, I believe the darker brown. Not the darkest one I used, but the lighter of the three, or the middle of the road of the three that I used. I'm going back in and just kind of dragging down under the eye to blend a little bit, because I feel like the look is a little bit unfinished without anything under there. So I'm kind of just going in and blending all the colors that I used on my eyelid under the eye as well. So I even go back in with some of that pink color, and I believe even some of that really dark brown that I used to deepen up the outer corner, and just really blend that in. You don't want it to be like, you don't want to have any like super harsh lines unless you like that type of look, but I like it to be a little bit blended. I do actually end up adding some eyeliner. This is the black Maybelline Unstoppable eyeliner. It's kind of like my go-to for my own personal use. It is supposed to be waterproof, and it really doesn't move much, so I do like this eyeliner. I've used it for years, and I'm just lining my waterline right now. So I kind of blend it into my lash line a little bit, but mostly just the waterline. Again, I like more of a dramatic look, so if this is too much for you, you can totally skip this step. It's totally not necessary, but again, like I wanted extra drama tonight, so I decided to add the eyeliner, and then I go back in again and kind of just blend that shadow with the eyeliner on the lash line. So now I'm going to add a coat of mascara to my lashes. I always curl them first. I am putting falsies on, so I always curl and then do like a coat of mascara before I do that. So I'm just going to speed this up because you guys all know how to put on mascara. So I'll be back to show you how I apply lashes. Once that coat of mascara is on, it's time to apply these false lashes. These are by Kiss, and you can get these pretty much anywhere. Like CVS has them, Walmart has them. I like this pack again because I do makeup on clients, so it has like a bunch in one pack instead of buying like individual little packs. But these lashes are great. They're super natural looking. They do give a nice pop to the eye look, but like not overly dramatic. Any lash is dramatic for me because I don't wear false lashes on a daily basis. So I really like these because they look natural, but they still give you extra oomph and volume and length. So these are great. So once the glue is applied to the lash, I kind of just dry it and blow on it for like 30 seconds so that it becomes more tacky. Strip lashes go on a lot easier if you wait for the glue to dry just a little bit, because I've had the hardest time and didn't know this trick until, you know, I figured out how hard it was to get them to stay and sit in the place where you need them to sit on your eye. So you want to get as close to the lash line as possible. I like to use tweezers. A lot of people don't like to use tweezers. I find it to be easier, and I can place the lash exactly where I want it to go and kind of push it into the lash line. So as you can see, that's kind of what I'm doing here, making sure that it's as close to there as possible and kind of just pushing it onto my skin. And as you can see, I like go back in with my finger, make sure that inner corner is definitely glued down, because that's like the first part that would lift on my eye at least. These lashes are actually a little bit short for me. They don't go all the way to my inner corner, but you don't always want that because it could be a little bit uncomfortable for wearing. So that eye is done. Now I'm going in on the other side and doing the same thing. This side you can kind of see a little bit better. So I wanted to make sure that I showed you guys this side since it's a little bit more closer up. But again, going in with the tweezers and just really placing that as close to the lash line as possible. And the glue that I use is actually black. It dries black, I should say. I would not recommend using a black glue if you're doing strip lashes on yourself, especially, just because it could get really messy. And once that glue dries, it's so hard to get off like your skin if it's placed in the wrong spot. So always make sure to use a clear glue. The Duo is a great brand as well, and they do sell clear and black. So just make sure to get the one that dries clear. So now just to add another coat of mascara onto the false lashes, just to blend my natural lashes in with the false ones. And that pretty much finishes off the look. So this pretty much completes the look, guys. I know I didn't do my lips, but I had already explained that earlier in the video. I'm sorry, I'll have to try to do that the next time. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this and you got some good ideas on how to do a full glam face for a night out or a special event for yourself. And please make sure to subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed watching it. I did enjoy filming this for you and editing. I hope that I can do some more of these for you soon. And let me know what you'd like to see next. Until then, thanks again for watching.